It's okay.
It's all right.
We're getting
we'll
there
help
as
you
well.
through it. We'll help you through it.
We will say Charlie Niner every time. Don't you worry.
Here we go then. First map is going to be Ilios here in the battle for the California Cup. San Francisco Shock and the LA Valiant. And it looks like Smurf is starting actually for the San Francisco Shock over Super in that main tank position. New addition to the team on Winston right now. We'll see how he adapts. Yeah,
and both teams going to be opting for the McCree is a hit scan DPS player. We've got babybay for the side of Shock. Bunny, speaking of him, he goes down straight away, Sleepy across the map, and now the initiation comes in. Body's going to be clashing here in the close quarters. See if they can get any more picks, but the stun comes down and Fate is taken out of the fight. Turned it around, Shock with the opening 2 picks there. They're going to be happy with that. They've claimed up the point and it's capped up.
Yeah, a little unfortunate actually for Bunny that he just was overwhelmed by damage so early on. Steps into that sight line, takes a headshot from Sleepy. Nothing you can do about that. That's just a reset, and Valiant come back in. Slightly difficult to engage with this composition. Great positioning from Smurf. That's going to stop them in the choke point, but takes so much damage.
Yeah, has to back off round the corner there. Leap back again, 70 HP. He does survive, but no, I speak too soon. Smurf ends up going down with the main tank out of the picture. Valiant now have a great opening, but babybay, meanwhile, has gone for a flank. Hits one headshot, not bad. Going to be seeing if he can get any more here, but he needs to stay out of the line of sight of Agilities with that rally pop. Very difficult, very tanky, hard to bring them down, but it doesn't seem to be mattering anyway. Valiant are coming out on top with the picks they're getting, and now it looks like Shock are still attempting to try and push this one forward. Still, I got a couple of ultimates available to them, but Fate wants to try and prolong and drag this one out. Using a Primal Rage, pushing the supports, disrupting them. Great mechanical ability by him. Collects 1 kill. And in the backline, Smurf ended up unleashing one of his own. Still, Valiant do not have this point. They have not flipped it over at any point. It's been stalled up to this moment, and now they finally get it, but not before Shock get 56%.
LA Valiant with a great recon test there. Huge amount of damage done to Smurf very early on. He had a good idea, but I think actually that if he'd put his positioning slightly higher up, if he'd gone for the high ground rather than the low ground, wouldn't have taken so much damage. And then I think we see the difference in these 2 main tanks' abilities with their Primal Rage. Yep. Fate absolutely destroying with it. One of the best tanks in the Overwatch League, one of the best tanks in the world. Plays for Team Korea, for goodness sake.
There we have it. We're going to see a lot of ults coming out, both the sound barriers for these teams. babybay gets no value of his Deadeye. Let's see if he can go flashbang, fan the hammer, but not getting the hit. The shots onto the side of Fate, and Fate's still alive, causing a bit of disruption, but it's not going to matter anyway. Shock, they win this fight out convincingly.
Yeah, very back and forth between both of these teams at the moment. Sound barrier engagements from the San Francisco Shock allow them to just push straight through that choke point. And even though Custa used his, they couldn't disengage fast enough, get overwhelmed by Smurf and ChoiHyoBin. So pressure on the Valiant now to recontest, and it's actually the San Francisco Shock with that 50% that they managed to accrue in the first fight, now looking pretty at 80. Things are starting to get a little desperate here for Valiant as they push in for what could be the final time. Yeah,
we're going to see. They do have a Transcendence to use, and they've got to pick straight away. Sinatraa down, but it's traded. Bunny falls, and that means the DPS is gone for them. We're going to see that self-destruct offloaded here by Shock. They get no value from it, and Valiant are desperately trying to turn this one around. They've got ultimates to use as well. This should be their fight, and if they don't throw, oh my goodness, Fate! He pops the Primal Rage in the nick of time, just saves himself from going into the drink into the center of the well. He's going to try and get a little bit of value out of it, but has to back off. It's still overtime, remember. Valiant have not actually capped out this point. Now we see the rally being used by Agilities. Going to see if he can do some work. Points almost capped up for them. Shock are doing a great job of holding on to this. It seems like right now, anyone's game still as this fight continues. babybay now using the Deadeye, but will he get any value of it? Not quite, Josh.
He's pushing everybody off the point, though, and the overtime is still trying to take down. ChoiHyoBin's been demeched, and LA Valiant flipped the point. Smurf has nobody to protect him. He's having to back away as well. For what was an incredibly crucial fight there that could have gone the way of the San Francisco Shock, they just about lose control of the point. That was on tenterhooks there for a long time. The LA Valiant should be happy that they managed to retain control of that. And if Fate had died by falling in the well, that would have been curtains.
We have it now. We see the sound barrier initiation. Connects onto 4 of them from both these teams. Now we're going to see what they can do. Transcendence layered on top. Stacking of the ultimates from Shock. And Bunny, that's his cue to use this Deadeye. Forcing these players back. And he gets the pick onto Moth. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And Smurf falls as well. Valiant still holding on to this point. A lot of ultimates expended there by Valiant. But still, they have a rally and they have a Transcendence. So they're not hurting too much.
Whereas Sleepy used his Transcendence in the middle of that fight, actually. So I didn't catch what the value was of it. Obviously, Moth and trading the sound barriers with Custa was the focal point of that fight. But this Transcendence is going to be very difficult for them to overcome. A little flank by Bunny there. Manages to take down babybay with the help of space.
This is it, do or die time as we see the ultimate starting to fly out. The Primal Rage being used by smurf, trying to give it a value, trying to knock a couple of these players around into the rest of his team. Overtime taken down. Somebody needs to get onto the point here. Smurf just about touches it, but that's going to now mean Bunny unleashes the Deadeye. ChoiHyoBin knocked out of it. Double kill. See you later. One final hit. babybay tries to salvage it, but not good enough. And Valiant, they get first round here on Ilios.
What a tense back and forth between both of these teams to start it out. You can see how close it is. The improvements from the San Francisco Shock in the offseason seem like they're working out pretty well, but at the end of the day, the Valiant are able to sneak it off. So that really was, I think, a preview for what we'll see throughout the rest of this series. Very back and forth, both teams playing these compositions that, honestly, we haven't seen too much of in the World Cup and things like this.
Yeah.
But it seems like from internally scrimming, both of these teams have a good idea of what they want to play, and it's fairly similar to what we saw in the Overwatch League Season 1, but with a Lucio rather than a Mercy, and teams playing around that McCree. Just for that map, though, I imagine it's going to be very dependent on the terrain.
Yeah, I never thought I'd see the day now as we're heading into Ruins, and I do not see a Widowmaker on either side. Both these teams are opting for triple support, triple tank compositions, with a couple of changes in between them. You can see that Shock are opting for a little bit more damage. They've got a Zenyatta in the mix, but they're getting booped around all over the place. Face on the low ground, but a nice bio grenade is going to force them back, and that will open it up for the first kill going the way of Valiant. Nicely done. That will cause Shock to just disengage for now, reset a little bit. They've got to wait and see if they can get any picks, but the point will be controlled by Valiant.
It's so important here for the San Francisco Shock to bait out the bubbles from Bunny, because with the Zen on the field, Sleepy needs his Discord orbs to stay on people. And if Bunny's really clever with how he uses these bubbles, they're going to get no value out of the Zenyatta, and he just gets run over immediately anyway. They bait them in, pull Shock forwards, they're trying to get decent angles on them, and then the engagement comes in. Custa with a speed boost, they utterly demolish them. It's like a train wreck.
Absolutely. Yeah, even with Izayaki's anti-nade getting ate up there by ChoiHyoBin, and he's been, you know, he's got a hard game ahead of him because he's got to keep an eye on a lot of these cooldowns to try and eat them up. They cannot let them get value out of that nade. We're going to see, wasn't quite good enough for them, and now we're going to see the rally used by Shock. sinatraa wants to give his team a little bit more armor, and that's the initiation, but that's going to force them to use the nano boost. Sleep onto ChoiHyoBin as well. Beautiful stuff by Izayaki. Graviton Surge now going to be used. Shock trying to turn this one around desperately, but there's a whole mash of ultimates being used into the field, and it seems like Shock might be coming out on top. They just need to focus down these targets. Moth dangerously just trying to skirt life on the edge here, is going to find his way back onto the battlefield. No casualties just yet. It's very even between these two teams, but let's see if they can focus it down now as the ults start to come out. Self-destruct by space will find a kill onto Sleepy, but will it be enough, Josh?
That's crazy situation. This entire fight has just been madness. We had 2 Graviton Surges thrown out, we had a Nano Boost, and we had a Transcendence, and it led to no deaths. And that allowed LA Valiant to disengage and then try and come back in with the sound barrier. And at the end of the day, that sound barrier versus no ultimate push was the thing that won it for the LA Valiant. And now there's one on the other side, so we're going to see a repeat of that fight, and it's all down to Moth and how well the rest of his team uses this sound barrier to engage. And they've only got 10 seconds.
90% and counting. Shock, rally, Graviton Surge, self-destruct. Let's see what they can do. Oh my word, the Earth Shatter laid down. It doesn't matter how many ults you have when Fate's hitting fatty shatties like that. And he is swinging his hammer around. Easy win for them. And that is absolutely clinical. The self-destruct gets no value, and Valiant are going to be taking map number 1 here in the California Cup.